Hello, welcome to my final video of the year. I wanted to share this with you before we close off because this, I believe, is one of the most powerful use cases of combining Claude, for example, and other platforms. So you can actually do this within GPT and Make, which will allow you to execute a variety of different tasks. In this instance, I've done an email. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask Claude on the left here to create me 3 emails for a specific email address. I don't need to give it a specific email address. I can actually ask, because I've connected it, for it to review previous emails and various other communications, and then it will find email addresses for me and it can do that. So I'm going to ask it to create 3 emails for me. As you can see, Claude is going to begin working. Right now, if you see on my right hand side, we've got Gmail, the one module in here, and that's all we need for this particular execution. And this is enough to be a very powerful tool. So it's actually going to produce me 3 drafts. And as you can see on the right hand side, Claude is running and Make is now running because it has executed that via MCP. And it's going to run it 3 times because I've asked for it to do it 3 times. I can also ask it to run it 10 times or however many times it is that I need based on what I want. So if I wanted to send or create drafts for multiple people, which I've just done here, I could say, create me a Christmas message for all of my contacts that you can see and base the response on our previous email communications. And it will actually go through and it will do that. And it'll execute that. So you can see that that is done. How powerful is that? So now, directly within Claude's web interface, I can ask it to produce draft emails for me, and they will be populated directly in my email inbox. And you can see this is one that was produced earlier, and I can click through any one of these and it will produce that for me. That's just how easy that is. And this is just one of infinite ways that you can use this. So any make scenario that you create, you can connect it through Claude via MCP, via the method that I'm going to show you here as well. So we're actually going to dive in and we're going to build this together. I'm going to slow down a little bit because I know I am on 2 times speed as standard. If you've seen me present, you know this. But basically, we're going to come in, we're going to produce a new scenario. I'm going to press the plus button because we're doing Gmail on this occasion. We're going to go to Gmail. I'm going to click on draft. So I'm just going to search for it because it makes life a little bit easier. Create a draft email. Okay, so we've added that in there. It's already got all the information in there. But we don't have the correct variables yet because we need to set those. We need to be able to set scenario inputs and outputs so that Claude knows when it's executing that what needs to go where. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click here, input structure, and we're going to add input structure. I'm going to add 3 in here because that's what we need. Now I'm going to give you the document that includes how to do this. So if I come through to here, what you'll see here is we've got item 1, 2, and 3 because we need to give it the email address, the email subject, and the email body. And we need to make sure that all 3 of those things are required so that Claude knows that they need to be populated. So I'm going to go through here, recipient email, that's the first one. It's text, right? And I've done it as required. Then we're going to do email subject, and we're going to scroll down, we're going to click required yes, and then we're going to go down again, and we're going to do email body, and we're going to click required yes. I'm going to click save. And now I'm going to come back here and I'm going to go to scenario outputs. This one's nice and easy. It just needs to know. So if we're going to say status on there, done. Right, so we know that it's been executed. I'm going to save that. Now, very important, in order for this to work and be connected to MCP, we need to go ahead and we need to set this to on demand. I'm going to click save. It's going to ask me to activate it, which I'm not going to do for the moment. I'm going to click not yet, but in your case, you can activate it, right? And then I'm going to rename this something very, very obvious, and that is create email draft, right? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to name it create email draft, and I'm going to come back in here, and where it says subject, I'm going to click on that and I'm going to choose a custom variable, right? So they should be available, but they're not coming up just at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click save after I just put some nonsense in there because it will need it. Add recipient, I'm just going to put something in there because it needs it for me to be able to save that. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click save. I'm going to refresh this. And I'm going to come back in because that should be available there now as well. Provided everything's tickety-boo, I should be able to see that directly within the make module. So we're just waiting a quick second here. We're going to go back into it, right? And I'm going to click on there. And when that loads back up again, I'm going to be able to remove that. I'm going to click on the variables and you can see that we've got the 3 variables there that we've set. So email, subject, and when we want to go for body contents, we're going to do that as well. Oh, I'm in the way, look. So I'm going to go ahead and move me out of the way a little bit. Let's go ahead and click that again. And we're going to go for, again, clicking into the variables section here, email body, done. So now Claude's going to know, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that as well. Claude's going to know what each one of those things are and what it needs to put in. So I'm going to come back here. So that's been saved. We've got the name of that there. We're going to come back into the options and we're going to edit the description to something very obvious. Create email draft on request, right? So that's done. So now we've created that. I'm going to make it very, very obvious. Now Claude's going to know that that's what we need to do. That really is how simple this part of the process is. In order to have those variables, one thing to remember, in order to be able to use those variables, you do need to have a higher tier membership on Make. So you are going to need to have the Pro plan. And again, depending on how frequently you're using it, if you think about the use cases that you'll have and how many different tools that you can use directly within Claude, from our perspective, it's worth every penny, because within Claude, I can now use it as a real clear personal assistant to activate any one of these scenarios that I need. So it's well worth it for us. So it's a thing to consider. There are other platforms like ActivePieces, then you can do this, and it's a free thing to be able to use. Again, that's something that I can touch on another video. So now I'm going to tell you how you can get the link that you need in order to connect up the MCP server. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to come into your profile. So you click on profile, that will take you to the dashboard that's here. It will take you to your organizations first. Then you have to click on API access, and you go ahead and you click add token. You're going to select all for now. That's just the easiest way to do it, but it has access to everything. Call it whatever you want, but the key thing it needs to have access to is the MCP information in here. So if I scroll there, it needs to be able to have access to MCP, right? So just for ease of use, we're going to click all of those for the time being. That's going to produce you an API key, which you're going to copy, right? So when that is made, you'll have the opportunity to copy that, and you'll be able to put it into the link that I'm about to share. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move the screens a little bit here. This is the link that you need if you are in the EU. And the way that you find this link here, so where you've got here, there, that link there is the link that you'll have here, and you'll be able to take that and add that in, right? And then you will be able to connect directly into the MCP servers. Now, what I've also done to this link is I have added in an organization ID. Because we manage multiple different organizations, we only want it to be able to access a specific organization, which is ours. We don't want it to access any of our clients' organizations. So that's what we've done. We've set that strictly to only be able to access that. And you would just basically put your organization ID, which is the number that comes after the link that's here. So you will be able to find that, very easy to find. And then you're going to insert your API key here. So there is where your API key will go. Then you're going to copy that link, right? And we're going to go back into Claude, and we're going to click this little plus button here, and we're going to go to connectors. We're going to manage connectors, and then we're going to add a custom connector. We're going to call it whatever you want, right? So email draft, if that's all you're using, or make is what we've called it. And then you're just going to paste in your link there. That is then going to give Claude access, and that is it. And now I can go in and I can say to Claude, create me 4 more drafts, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click enter there. I can come back here and you can see that that is going to activate the scenario that's on the right hand side. So in the space of a few minutes, it really is that easy. You can now create and connect via an MCP to trigger any one of those scenarios. And this is one of my favorites. So you can see that it's running there. How good is that? How amazing is that you'll be able to do that? So look, I hope that helped. I hope it's a great Christmas present. I hope it's a great New Year present for whatever else. Enjoy. And if there are any questions, or if you do want a specific video, if you want me to dive into how to develop this with ActivePieces, then again, just reach out to me and we'll be able to produce that too. Have a good holiday season.